Hello, we are live according to YouTube live streams. How are you guys doing? I, whew, let's see here. Man, I think I'm going to give it a couple of minutes before getting right back into it because I'm still not sure how many people are going to tune in, how many people want to watch, how many people are like waiting till 5 to come on. So let's give it a couple of minutes before talking about what we need to talk about here, which is, as the description has said, supposed to be about the current state of Pretendos. These people, man, there's a lot to say about what's going on right now because I do think we've reached the point where people are trying to damage control the Switch's success. It caught a lot of people off guard, and people just are having so much trouble trying to justify being angry at Nintendo. So this is taking a lot of forms at the moment. I've seen like a lot of statements. I've seen like lots of unfair criticisms lobbied at Nintendo games. I've seen like all sorts of bullshit. I've seen like all sorts of weird statements. There is a lot to talk about, and I thought like it would be a nice idea to live stream it and just talk with you guys. And let's see. I suppose we could start now if that's okay with you. Yes, I have spent my weekend playing my Switch as I always do. Like Disgaea 5, something called Skyforce Anniversary, like all sorts of great stuff. I really, really am enjoying my Switch. Kind of, amazing console. Amazing console. Love it to bits. And I love the console so much. There are so many games to play on it. There's all this stuff I'm enjoying so much on it that it's impossible to take criticisms lobbied at it all that seriously. I have motherfuckers who, I see motherfuckers make YouTube videos trying to pretend they like own Switches and that they don't play a lot of it because like, oh, there aren't any good games. And like these people, shit on Zelda, they shit on ARMS, they shit on like, the upcoming Switch lineup. Bayonetta 3 comes to mind. It's just kind of ridiculous, right? To see the lengths people will go to pretend that the upcoming Switch lineup is not exciting for general audiences. The narrative that the Nintendo consoles are only made for Nintendo fans has core Nintendo fans who like core Nintendo titles. Like that has always been a myth. There has always been stellar titles from other companies that like gain traction on Nintendo platforms. The audience is clearly there, but people refuse to support it in any. The developers refuse to support it in any capacity, as we saw with like the Grasshopper manufacturer thing. They hit it big with No More Heroes, and then suddenly, because of their deals with the big publishers, they started making multi-plat games. They started focusing on the PlayStation 360, and we saw this decline of quality going from like, we went from No More Heroes to shit like Killer is Dead and Lollipop Chainsaw, and things are finally starting to recover with Travis Strikes Again. But that's the pattern you see here, right? You see a constant decline until you see a return to Nintendo platforms. Resident Evil was going through all of these problems before 4 was made as a GameCube exclusive, right? Like Final Fantasy, Square Enix RPGs are going through this dry spell right now. Nobody likes them. Octopath Traveler did a lot to really revitalize that brand and really remind people why they fell in love with this kind of genre to begin with. It's just Man, and seeing people, shit on games like Octopath Traveler, seeing people try to shit on games like Travis Strikes Again, like it's just plain embarrassing, right? It comes from people who do not know what they're talking about. I guarantee you that the vast majority of people who were criticizing Travis Strikes Again, like, weren't really fans of the original. They didn't play a lot of Suda 51 games outside of like the extremely mainstream No More Heroes. Like they never played Killer 7. They never played like Flowers, Sun and Rain. They never played like the Silver Case or anything like that. Like no, 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 no. Like to them, it was like a travesty. It was disappointing that Suda 51 chose to make a low budget game. That's just that's just ridiculous, right? Like they didn't stop to consider whether or not the game was going to be good, whether like the decisions would lead to like an interesting experience. They didn't like think about what Suda could be doing. They didn't think about like the surprises he might have in store. Like they did not give a fuck about any of that. They just saw, the game and, tried to call it shit before they like even understood what it was. And I think it's a consensus among fans at this point, like actual fans, that Travis Strikes Again is actually better than No More Heroes 2. Like I've said this a lot, but like with the DLC and like the visual novel segments and like the gameplay as a whole, like I think yeah, Travis Strikes Again is better than No More Heroes 2. Let's see here. And now with like the previous Nintendo Direct, right? The previous Nintendo Direct, I saw so many people trying to shit on all these different games, right? Like people saying that like Yoshi is a rehash, Mario Maker is a port, like shitting on Link's Awakening, like a game that's over 15 years old. Like, ooh, oh, we don't want a port. Like, yeah, never mind that game is a classic and like has desperately needed to be remade. Like, never mind that. Just it's just a port. Like, again, it's just embarrassing. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think Fire Emblem, and Pokemon right now are the two biggest targets for Pretendo logic, the Pretendo rhetoric, like the Pretendo attacks, because I keep seeing people who are clearly not aware of what Fire Emblem is like, has been like in the past several years, shitting on Three Houses for having terrible visuals or being goofy or being anime. It just reeks, right? It just reeks of people who don't appreciate the series for what it is. And this has been like Fire Emblem elitism has to be one of the most annoying things about the Nintendo fan base right now, I think, is that like with the big new Fire Emblem game on the way, like all they can do is just rant and rave about how disappointing Three Houses is and like try to make it out like it's going to be terrible when it clearly isn't. Like everything about that game looks spectacular. Like I like the setting, I like what they're doing with it, I like the way the mechanics are looking. But yet, no, you have people bitching about like the visuals and bitching about the animations and like trying to find some reason to not like this game. I just don't get, like, they are fishing they are desperately trying to find something to be angry about. And that is the essence of Pretendo, I think. Is like when you see a game you're not interested in, like, shouldn't your response to be like you just don't care about it? Why do you feel the need to attack Nintendo all the time? It's just kind of embarrassing. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on chat real quick. I have like more things to say here. Travis Strikes Again is not bad. I've played it. I've experienced it. Probably my favorite game of the year so far. I do expect Yoshi to be better than it though, because I fucking love Yoshi. Yoshi looks spectacular. Oh wow, what's with all these? Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, my chat is out of control. I wasn't catching up to it. Let's see. Yeah. care. No. This is a Pretendo Direct. The Protendo Direct is when we talk about what Nintendo is actually doing. Well, the Pretendo Direct is where we talk about like all these idiot pretendos, right? And like the bullshit they're spouting right now. So, again, I talked about that quite a bit. Again, it's kind of confusing. That's the point. It's let's see. Yeah, YouTube does not want these comments to show. I'm just like sitting here clicking on them so people can actually see what you're talking about. Let's see. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I need to have mods or something to take care of this for me because I just want to be talking. Okay, because like just sitting here looking at the chat is just gonna get boring, I think. But yeah, the other big one, Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? Like probably we're talking about a game that's going to probably sell like 20 million units. Like this is going to be a huge deal. Like first console Pokemon game ever, I think. I haven't heard a lot of people bringing that up yet, but this is going to reach that that is going to reach a new demographic, people who like don't necessarily want to play on handhelds, right? It's going to be more appealing. It's going to be a traditional Pokemon experience on console, something we've been wanting since like the 90s, right? And yeah, yet I see so many nonsense complaints regarding Pokemon Sword and like it's so fake, right? It's coming from people who clearly don't care about the franchise, clearly don't care about what Pokemon has been in the past couple of years, how they're evolving the formula, what they're doing. Like people bitching about like the new starters, like whoa, it's just another Pokemon game. Yeah, it's just another entry in like the most profitable, the biggest franchise in the world, and yet you're still getting angry about it. I just don't get it. It's especially bizarre, right? Considering how all the complaints towards Let's Go seem to be fixated on how it wasn't a traditional Pokemon experience and how it was so different and how it seemed to be aping off of Pokemon Go. And here's the thing. I knew so many people who insisted, who swore like Pokemon Let's Go was going to ruin the franchise, right? Like from this point forward, Pokemon would be entirely aimed at the Pokemon Go audience. Like they would get rid of traditional catching, they would like casualize the entire thing, they would like do all this stuff, make it more appealing to the Pokemon Go audience. And in mainline games. And going by what we've seen in Pokemon Sword and Shield, that is not the case. We have seen a return to the traditional formula. We have seen a return to the format where we've seen a little bit of how they're improving things. Like gyms are bigger. We've seen a couple of the new Pokemon. Like there is so much to be excited about when it comes to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And yet you have so many people like getting angry about it, like damage controlling it, being upset. It's just plain sad. I just cannot stand it. Worse. No. Oh yeah, you bet I'm a better gamer than DGL. Just unfucking believable. I've hardly played my Switch in the 2 years I've had it. Just unbelievable. Like I'm gonna say this right now. I own more games on my Switch than he owns on like probably every single platform he owns. I've played my Xbox One, my secondary platform, more than he's played his main platform. I certainly own more Xbox One games than he owns Nintendo Switch games, going by like the way he talks and the way he insists. There's no there is no, there are no fucking games on Nintendo Switch. Like, even just saying that is downright laughable. I just, man, it's just so ridiculous seeing him like rant and rave about like how good Spider-Man is, and just yeah, yeah, sure, it's the best game you've played this year. If it's like the only game you've played this year, I just okay. Oh yeah, yeah. World of Light was great. I love Smash Ultimate. I whew, really need to get back to playing it more. Like I just moved. Like this is the thing with Smash Ultimate, right? Like this is probably the Smash Bros. Game I've played the least, but that's because like I'm playing so much other stuff. Like it's just plain ridiculous, man. Again, I think I bought like a couple of more Switch games. Like Katamari Damacy Reroll came out that same day, right? And I come back and I went back and played it and finished it since then. It's just Smash is great. Need to play it more. Yeah, 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 yeah. I had to take a break from Smash because I was just like, doing all those events. Like every time I play it for like several hours, just doing the spirits, and like I'll get all of them eventually. It's just like, yeah, you just get burned out on it if you like do that nonstop for like 5 hours every time you turn the game on. It's just, yeah, I have other games I need to finish. Hmm. I cannot wait until the remake of Link's Awakening comes out. It's going to be so good. I'm hoping I have the time to go back and finish it. Like I've been meaning to play it again. I was meaning to finish it before the remake was even announced. But yeah, I've been playing it a little bit and it's great. Love that game. Uh, yes, I have played Devil May Cry. It's shit. I will get Devil May Cry 4 if it comes out on Switch, or the reboot if it comes out on Switch, or 5 if it comes out on Switch. But otherwise, I'm not going to bother. Like the games just aren't that good and just aren't worth playing. Like the only reason I even bother with it is because so many people insist that it's like some greatest of all time action game. When like to me, it's not even mediocre. Like I breeze through the games like so easily and so quickly, and it just I don't feel an incentive to come back to it. Like I don't care about anything that goes on in those games. Like it does not have any of like the technical depth, or it's just not as fun to play as Bayonetta is. Like I can play. I've played Bayonetta 1 from start to 100% completion to like I'm on my third playthrough of doing this right now. Like I never get tired of it. Like 100% completion in this context means like beating it in all the difficulties, like getting everything in it. Like, and I did that with Bayonetta 2 as well. And like, keep in mind, I don't like Bayonetta 2 as much as Bayonetta 1. And I still ended up enjoying it way, way more than Devil May Cry or most other action games for that matter. Like, Ninja Gaiden Black is better, I'll give it that. But, I still like Bayonetta. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is supposed to be a Pretendo stream. Let's talk about Nintendo games I don't like. Here's the thing, right? When it comes to Nintendo games I don't like, I give you reasons. I give you justification. I give like reasonable explanations as to why I think games are better or worse than other games. Like for example, Bayonetta 2. I was just talking about this. Like I do not think that game is anywhere near as good as the original. I thought it was a massive downgrade. I thought it was a massive disappointment. I was like shitting on people who were calling it game of the year. I thought it wasn't that good. And I still stand by those statements. I do, because I do think it's like kind of underwhelming compared to the first one, but again, I'm reasonable about it. Like I can see why more casual players might like Bayonetta 2. And like I myself do like it to a certain extent. Like if I don't think I would have been happy not playing that game at all, Like I love the original so much, and like considering I've like cleared it so many times, like uh, it only goes. It's only reasonable that I at least try the sequel. And there are interesting things about the sequel, but it just like the visuals I think are a massive improvement. But other than that, it's just a step down. From the combat perspective, from the gameplay perspective, like it's just not as good as the original in a lot of ways. And I compare the way I feel about Bayonetta 2 compared to people who bitch about Star Fox Zero, right? Who insist it's like a complete failure and Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing. Like, they'll never be able to make a good Star Fox game. That they need to just kill the series. That there's no appeal for this franchise in the modern market. That like there's nothing they could possibly do to salvage it. Like Miyamoto is like the Japanese George Lucas. Like that is just downright ridiculous bullshit. It just does not make any sense. You people are simply exaggerating what the problem actually is. It's just plain ridiculous, right? Like there's no reason to treat Star Fox Zero that way. There's no reason to treat Tokyo Mirage Sessions that way. There's no reason to treat Paper Mario Color Splash that way. Like you can like the older games more, sure, that's fine. But I think all of those games do a lot to really be different and distinct from each other and are just all around stellar games. And like despite the shit posting, despite like all the bitching, in spite of like everything people say is wrong about those games, I think they still stand heads and shoulders above most other games that released around the same time. Star Fox Zero is a great game. Um, uh, Yeah, VGL, you're such a poser. Arms is great. Color Splash is great. Um, yeah, Black Bond is a massive faggot. Lives in his attic. Jacks off. Jacks off all the time to hentai, probably. Makes podcasts about me like a YouTuber with like less than 300 subscribers. Like, what a fucking loser. Just, man, 3-hour podcast where you talk about Nintendo fans who call you out on your bullshit. That's just plain pathetic. Like it's amazing, right? How he's kept this up for like years since like before I even started, right? Before I even started making YouTube videos, he was doing this shit, like insisting that like Nintendo's gone downhill, man. How they're not as good as they used to be. How like real fans like him are willing to call them out on their shit. Like people like VGL, like Black Bond, like people like that, they love to talk up what big Nintendo fans they are. It's not true. Like they don't seem to have any modern Nintendo franchise they like. Like they seem to like ubiquitously believe that Nintendo went downhill in the 90s, that like the Sega Genesis like raped the Super Nintendo and like there's been no recovery for them. Like the N64 was a complete failure with no classic games. How like nobody cares about the GameCube. There's no game on the GameCube that anybody remembers. Like the Wii was just a fluke. Like it's they do this all the time, right? Where they just constantly move the goalposts and constantly try to justify their anger at a fucking video game company. And it's just so bizarre and just so sad. And I just hate it so much. So pathetic. Like nobody can seem to explain why Nintendo went downhill, allegedly. Like, are you trying to say that Super Mario 64 didn't redefine 3D platformers, that it wasn't a great game? Are you trying to say that Ocarina isn't like a classic? Are you trying to say that like, games like Luigi's Mansion aren't really good? Are you trying to say like Pikmin doesn't have an audience? Are you trying to like say that Super Smash Bros. Isn't popular, the most popular fighting game in the world? Are you trying to like pretend that the PS2 had a library that could compete with the GameCube. It's like, what are like I saw like a VGL video a while back where he's talking about like how great the PS2 is, and he showed off like 5 or 6 games. It's just like, what? Is that all you own for the console? Really? Really? It's just kind of embarrassing, right? Uh, um, I just don't respect people who don't acknowledge Nintendo as the driving force of creativity in this industry. Like Nintendo does something and Sony and Microsoft imitate it. It's just kind of embarrassing that people continue to deny this. Let's see. Yeah, Mario versus Rabbids is really, really good. I wish I have not played the DLC. I bought the season pass and I just have not gotten back to it yet. I need to. I want to get through Disgaea 5. I want to like play all the other others games I have. I just really, really uh let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Yoshi. I haven't seen a lot of complaints about that. I'm sure there are people saying it looks like a carbon copy of Woolly World. It isn't. Going by anybody who's actually played either will tell you that. Like that looks great. Like bitching about ports, like Dragon Quest 11. Yeah, that's another thing. Bitching about ports. I talked about this a little bit, but so many people love to pretend that like 90% of games on Switch are ports, right? Um, they love to say this. They love to pretend that like that makes the Switch a bad console, right? But they are completely ignoring all the original games that you can only get on Switch. In short, there's no reason to own other platforms at all. Like considering just how much better games like Zelda and Mario and Splatoon 2 are to the competition. Like I guarantee you, I haven't played Overwatch. I can't really speak to experience, but I guarantee you Splatoon is far more legitimately popular than Overwatch is. Like because people actually like Splatoon. It has like an interesting gimmick. It has interesting features. It's been able to update really, really well. It's had a successful sequel and an expansion, and it's actually progressed and improved the lore, and it's done all of this stuff. And Overwatch has done nothing but regress and like try to virtue signal, like trying to like pretend every character is gay. Um, it's just really alienating a lot of people. I think, like with the balance issues, I don't think Overwatch was ever legitimately popular. Like I get the ambition. People are so willing to suck Blizzard's cock for nothing. Like I am just so baffled how people can like look at the recent BlizzCon thing, Diablo Immortal, and then like try to convince themselves that like Diablo 4 is on the way. It's going to come out eventually. Like no, it isn't. I guarantee you there is no Diablo 4 in development. Blizzard is just fucking with you. They have no idea what they're doing. They have completely lost touch with their fan base, and yet nobody admits that. People continue to pretend as if it's Nintendo that's lost their audience, that it's Nintendo that's alienated everybody and like doesn't do what anybody wants to do. Like it's just so pathetic how they continue to pretend that like Nintendo, the company that outright tells their mobile division to not shove them full of microtransactions is somehow anti-consumer, somehow censorship happy, somehow like against the hardcore gamer. It's just so ridiculous. I hate it so much. Um, I should have been wearing my hat the entire time. I don't know what I was thinking. It is March 10th after all. It's Mario Day. I can't believe I forgot. It's just like it's me, Mario. Okay. Let's see here. Is there anything else to talk about today? Uh, by the way, Labo, right? I need to talk about Labo because Labo is not my thing. I don't own it. I've never experienced it. I have no experience with it at all. I know nothing about it. I don't know anybody who has it, but I have seen so many people pretend that it's a failure when it clearly isn't. Like it's done reasonably well for itself. Nintendo knows what to do with it. They're like experimenting. There's nothing wrong with that. It is infinitely more successful than PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, or HTC Vive. That's all I have to say about that. It's an interesting experiment that I'm sure has its core audience, of kids, right? Uh, yeah. April is loaded with Nintendo Switch releases. Well, not even April, because I'm waiting till like the end of March because Yoshi comes out on the 29th, I think. Yeah, Yoshi's coming out, and then like we have let's see here. Like I know Dragon's Dogma is coming out. Really looking forward to that. I know Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out on Switch, the best version of the game. Uh, we have so much to be excited about. I don't know how anyone could reasonably try to pretend that the Nintendo Switch is a disappointing console or that Nintendo is catering to the casuals. Like, why are you saying that? Because they made Labo? Like, are you fucking stupid? Like, are you ignoring all the other stuff they make? Like, is that what you're doing? Are you like completely ignoring the fact that Nintendo is dominating the industry when it comes to like actual high quality releases targeted at core gamers? Like, why can you not accept that Nintendo makes games for everyone? Why do you have to like be reminded by like the game journalists, by the YouTubers? Like, why do you have to be reminded about how hardcore you are for like playing God of War 2018 or Devil May Cry 5? Like, it's just a joke, right? Just a complete joke. God of War, definitely not. Devil May Cry 5, I played the demo and I hated it. So I don't know. Like I haven't followed anything regarding that release. Like I know about the censorship. I know about like how the PS4 version is objectively the worst version because like it's been censored. But like other than that, Devil May Cry 5, like my opinion is that it sucks because like the other game sucks. I haven't played it. I don't think it fixed any of the problems. Like I was watching gameplay and it looked terrible, man. Like the camera angles were garbage. Like the combat looks simplistic. Like Dante looks terrible. Like the photorealistic style in that release is just garbage, just plain garbage. All the characters look ugly as sin. I just hate it so bad. Like Bayonetta's is so much better, so much more crisp, so much more fluid, so much better looking. Bayonetta 2 looks better than Devil May Cry 5. That's just kind of embarrassing when you think about it. Oh, the camera angles. Yeah, the camera angles of Bayonetta 2. Yeah, those are better than Devil May Cry 5. Yeah. Uh, yeah, VGL is such a Nintendo hair. Like, can we just spell this out? Like, this is the main thing that really gets me about this guy. Like, he always goes on about how he's like such a big fan of every console and how you shouldn't be a console warrior and how like how like Nintendo and Xbox fans are like fanboys for like liking their consoles. But then he like goes around and like pretends that like every console that isn't like a Sony PlayStation is complete garbage. Like he shits on like the N64, the GameCube, the Wii. Like what Nintendo consoles do you like, you motherfucker? Just come on. Come the fuck on. And like now he's trying to say the Switch isn't very good. Like, dude, Breath of the Wild is not game of the generation. It's just laughable, right? It's just plain laughable. How he always tries to justify his bullshit. Like, you do it all the time. Okay. Okay. Yes, the Switch is very good. Uh, Yeah, and he always denies it too. Like whenever I call him out on it, like in this kind of situation, he always like backtracks and say that like, oh, he's a huge fan of the GameCube. I'm a huge fan of the Wii. But then like he turns around and like always bitches at Nintendo for like casualizing stuff and like uh, about how Nintendo is out of like he was just doing it in the chat here where he was like saying Nintendo lost touch with their audience. Like, where did he say it? Yeah, they had to rely on casuals. Like, yeah, they did lose their audience back in the 90s. Like, you can't. No, they didn't. It's just, it's just so bad for. I get the impression, by the way, I get the impression that the people who cannot stand Nintendo, who absolutely hate them, are people who like don't know the first thing about it, right? Because you always hear people say that like, oh, every Mario game is the same, every Zelda game is the same, every Pokemon game is the same, and Nintendo doesn't make anything else other than that. Well, any actual fan will tell you that that isn't the case. Like they evolved the formula with Mario, they evolved the formula with Zelda. They always do something new. Like they introduce new franchises. Like every couple of years or so. Like it's near constant at this point. Like we went from like Splatoon, Arms, Astral Chains coming up. Like we have so much new stuff. It's so impossible to like take anyone who says like Nintendo doesn't make enough new stuff all that seriously because they don't even know what Nintendo is making. It's just so bizarre. And then they have the audacity to bitch about like shit like Wii Fit or Labo or anything like that. Like, ooh, how dare this thing exist? I hate it so much. Let's see. I stand by my opinion that the PS2 audience are people who never actually were into video games previously. They mostly got it for the DVD player and for Grand Theft Auto. That's it. Like GameCube has had far more long-lasting appeal among actual gamers because it has so many more classic games. Like again, stuff like Onimusha. Like I like Onimusha, but like it's kind of interesting how it can't really compete with GameCube classics, you know? Like again, there's not a whole lot on the PS2 that can compete with the GameCube in that regard. Like there's nothing on par with like Super Smash Bros. Melee or Wind Waker or anything like that. And of course, games like Resident Evil 4 are better on GameCube anyway. Like I don't know how anyone can seriously pretend the PS2 was a better console than the GameCube. Like four controller ports, better multiplayer games, like better party games in general, better single player games. Like like if you wanted like a hardcore game, a console for like online play specifically, like the Xbox was so much better. Like Xbox and GameCube was the way to go that generation. Like the PS2 didn't have shit. Like didn't have shit. Yeah, a big library full of nothing but shovelware. Just why do you not understand this? Like, do you think that just because like the PS2 got a port of like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, that makes it like better than the GameCube? Like, come on. So wait. Ports are okay when the PS2 gets them. What? You're such a hypocrite. Okay. Um. Yeah. If anybody has any more questions for me, I think I need to get going. I have like things I need to do today. I think I already went a bit beyond schedule, but if anybody has any more questions about like the Pretendos, um, yeah, platformers. Are you? Yeah. Here's the thing about the PS2 library, like as a whole, like the third-party games on that platform. There was no reason for any of those games to only be on PS2. Like all of them should have come out on GameCube as well. Like typical third-party refusal to support Nintendo hardware. We're still seeing it today with the Switch, with like Capcom trying desperately to not release games on it. Like, there's no reason for Resident Evil 7 to not be on it right now. There's no reason for Monster Hunter World to not be on there right now. There's no reason for Devil May Cry 5 not to be on there right now. Like, they always make excuses to not support the Nintendo hardware. The PS2 library, all of that, all the third-party games should have been on GameCube as well. When you realize that, like, there's nothing the PS2 has over the GameCube other than like nothing PlayStation as a brand has over the GameCube as a whole. It's just I haven't played enough Tekken games to say if Arms is better than all of them. The only one I own is like Tag Team Battle 2, which I don't care for. From what I understand, that's not the best one. Like, I do want to get like a Tekken collection or something. Like, if it gets re-released, probably I'll probably pick it up eventually. Again, like if Tekken 7 comes out on Switch, I said that I would get it, right? Just so I like understand just so I like play it again. It's just so I have like a more thorough opinion. But yeah, I really like Arms. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I think I'm gonna log off in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, last call for questions. I don't like censoring people. Um, hmm. Oh, better than three? Really? Yeah, yeah. I'm sure Devil May Cry 5 is better than three, a game that isn't that good to begin with. Yeah. What an accomplishment. I just the best Koopaling. Man, I don't really care for the Koopalings. Like probably, probably Roy. I don't know. Like I like all of them. They're all the same to me. I don't know. Yeah, the PS2 has no games, right? When the best game you have is like Devil May Cry 3, that's really not something to be proud of, buddy. Took you like over a decade to get a follow up, and yet it's not even as good. Going by what I've heard, right? Not as good as a game that was on the PS2. Wow. So yeah, I do think Devil May Cry 5 has already sort of fallen by the wayside. Like it got those typical high game journalist AAA scores for like those kind of things. But like I don't think it's going to have the long lasting appeal that I don't think it's going to stick around really. Like I do think people will like eventually go back and like prefer three over it. Like I don't think it's going to really last. I think like the hype is mostly due to like blind fanboyism and just like waiting an entire decade for a proper follow up. Like again, I don't really respect Devil May Cry, so I would debate VGL if I could get it to where his voice would come out through my side and like my screen could understand it. I'm just not sure if that's going to be the case. A fair rating, it's way overrated. Like I don't think Devil May Cry 5 has really it's like God of War, right? Where people say it's like some spectacular action game when it's probably really isn't. Like it's just impossible to take seriously because like you just hear this all the time. Like, ooh, this is the best ever. Like, no, it's not. Yes, GTA is not that good. Jack and Daxter isn't that good. Um, Ratchet and Clank isn't that good. Oh yeah, you bet BGL already lost. Like, that's the main reason I don't want to do it, right? He's just some guy, right, who just like trolls Nintendo fans and gets angry at people for calling him out on his shit. It's just embarrassing. Oh yeah, I didn't see the Twitter link. I didn't see it. Yeah, post it in the chat because it's not showing up on my Twitter. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Let's see if this works. Let's see. Read and understood the information. People who you don't know will be able to watch you. Okay, that's that's going to be terrible. I'm kind of getting scared here now. Moderator, the hang on air. Okay, I got it.
Finally happened, huh?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Finally.
God knows how many months you're finally here.
Can the chat make this out?
They can hear me on my end.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I want some confirmation before we start here. Yeah? Yeah, it's clear?
Yes, it's clear.
All right. What's up, buddy?
Okay. There's so many things to talk about. Okay, for one, you say that the PS2 has no games.
Yeah, it doesn't. It has like five. Five
games.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So you say that I only own but you said in the live stream that I only own what, 6 games?
I saw you show off 6 games, something like that.
You didn't even knew that I have more than that.
Huh. Best rivalry on YouTube.
All right. And we'll look at this again. What's this?
Shovelware.
Shovelware. Shovelware. You know what? It's okay I had Jacob here. So, okay. What about these games? Soul Calibur 3.
Yeah, worse than 2. Should have been a multi-plat.
Okay. God of War.
I haven't played 2 yet.
Damn, you got set to play. Yeah, look like friends. We go outside and have your. Yeah, I'm gonna be in a debate, man. Hey, guys, give me a minute. Hey, what's up, motherfucker? What's up, motherfucker? Yeah, what's up, motherfucker? I'm gonna tell you right now, bitch. You're just fucking butthurt that DMC5 got fair reviews, and guess what? You're being a butthurt motherfucker. A butthurt motherfucking Nintendo fanboy that what you are right now, and guess what? That's the same thing as the God of War thing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No. Both games are terrible, right? Like neither of them are very good, but so many people are so insistent that they're so like the next major step forward in action games when they're not even like mediocre. They're not even worth like really talking about, really. I just don't really see the value in even addressing it. Like I've only seen like snippets of DMC5 gameplay, but it all seems really boring, derivative. It just not all that inspired. Like again, the genre has evolved since like the original DMC. So there's nothing about it that seems all that impressive.
That's probably it. Why? That's why you start trolling fucking Devil May Cry fans. Is that why?
Yeah, because the games are super overrated, right? I don't understand why people can like say that like something like DMC is like a super hardcore franchise for super hardcore fans of action games because there's nothing about it that really stands heads and shoulders above the rest everything else that's available in the genre. There's just again, you can't really tell me that something like Devil May Cry 2 is something that's worth talking about. It's just
well. Like I said on one video, I wasn't defending it. I said it was all right.
All right. Devil May Cry 2 is probably one of the worst games I've ever finished in my life. Like I played that right at the end of 2017, right? It was the end of 2017. I had just done all this stuff. I was just had nothing else to do, and I was just like, wow, let's play Devil May Cry 2 because I've never played it before, and I was just aghast at how terrible it was. Like that entire game is broken to its core. Like, and yet you call it all right? Just what?
Yeah, it's all right.
It is not all right. It's one of the worst games I've ever played in my life.
And that's a fact, bitch.
Better than the reboot? Did you say 2 was better? Did you say 2 is better than the reboot?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have not played the reboot, so I can't really say that for certain.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask this. Who are these cronies that you hired?
Hired? Yes. What?
These troll accounts.
Troll accounts?
The Nugget Butter guys.
I don't know who those people are. I think they're just messing with you, man.
You don't know who they are?
No, I don't.
Yeah, right. Like, you don't know who they are?
No.
Despite it, they said that apparently they work for you.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get a rise out of you.
Yeah, you probably hire them to get a rise out of us. That's probably why.
Okay, whatever. If that's what you want to believe, sure.
Yeah, like I said, okay, Devil May Cry 5 is better than ever. And probably better than Bayo 1 and 2, and probably Bayo 3.
Not better than 1. I cannot see it being better than 1. Like at the absolute best, I could see it being better than 2. But like again, I'm giving you I strongly doubt that as well, considering like what I've played from the series so far. Like again, I haven't played Devil May Cry 5, so I don't really have an opinion. But going by what I've seen in the past,
I've never played it, but yeah, you're gonna fucking bash it.
Well, I've played like all 3 of the original games, right? Like I played 1, which I did not like. I've played 2, which I hated, and I played 3, which I don't care for. So again, 3 is the best one. So if I don't really care for it,
you start trolling Devil May Cry fans.
Well,
fuck boys, soy boys, you never played Bayonetta in a life. I'm gonna say it right now, okay? Like I said, Bayonetta is fun, but the combat is overrated.
What? No, it is not overrated. Bayonetta is so much fun.
Yeah, it is overrated.
No, DMC is overrated.
Harmon, why don't you want to play God of War 2018?
I didn't like it. Like it just looks like more of the same to me.
What do
Like
you mean?
every AAA game
played it?
looks exactly the
You
same.
played it.
What?
Did you play the game?
Yeah, a little bit.
How?
How?
Yeah.
I picked up a controller and played it.
Do you even have a
You
PS4?
said, okay.
No. Girlfriend. Girlfriend has one.
What's her name?
Aubrey.
Okay. Yeah. But no. Back to the subject. Like I said, okay, I'm gonna say right now, regardless, okay, Kratos, Dante, and the chick Nier Automata 2B is better than Bayonetta. And I say that due to the fact because Bayonetta or 2B has something that Bayonetta doesn't. Wanna know what it is?
A penis?
That ass. She has that ass.
You cannot tell me with a straight face that Bayonetta does not have an ass. Just come on.
At least, at least she has a personality.
How can you say that Bayonetta doesn't have a personality?
She doesn't. She does not have a fucking personality.
That's just not true, okay?
Yeah.
She's probably the most interesting and charismatic female game protagonist in the past decade. I can't think of anyone that I've grown more attached to as time, like maybe outside of an RPG, I would say. Like Bayonetta has a lot of personality.
No, she does not. She does not have personality. Dante has personality.
Whoa. You cannot say that Bayonetta and Dante are very similar. They were made by the same people. How can you say that like Bayonetta has less personality than Dante? It just doesn't make any sense.
Bayonetta had to steal Dante's lines.
No, she doesn't.
Yes.
No, that's a homage, dude. Like they are paying tribute to what's come before. There's nothing wrong with that. It's from the same people.
You start bashing Hideki Kamiya's creation.
Yeah, because it's not that good. There's nothing. I went into Devil May Cry expecting to love it, and I was so disappointed by it that I just had to bitch at the fans who like hyped it up to me as something great when it really wasn't.
Okay, yeah, okay. If you don't like Devil May Cry, that's fine, but don't fucking troll fucking fans. that makes you a fucking idiot. I mean, that's like me saying like, oh, I don't like Bayonetta. Or
that's what you are saying. You just what? I just.
I'm saying example, idiot. Dumb 5-head motherfucker.
Okay. Let's just calm down. Okay. I'll ask me. What do you think of the Sega Genesis?
I haven't played enough games on it to really have an opinion.
Okay. I have some. Why do you want Nintendo to monopolize the industry?
Because they're the best company. There's no reason for the other platforms to exist at this point in time.
Really?
So why do you hate so much? Like, why do you hate PlayStation so much?
Yeah.
It's the one with the issue is that fans of PlayStation, of the first party games, like tend to overhype the titles so much.
Let's bring up the fans.
Jacob, let him finish. All right,
go ahead. I'll let him finish.
Yeah, where was I? Like they have this mindset that like the PlayStation games are somehow like this spectacular 10 out of 10, experience, right? And they just aren't. They just cannot compete with what Nintendo does on a regular basis across all of their different franchises. And I just find anyone who doesn't, I just feel that they're way overhyped and they really can't compete with what Nintendo does.
Okay, why do you attack the fan base so much then?
They spent the entire Wii U generation like mocking me for liking Nintendo. So yeah, it's just returning their dues.
That's the reason.
I am really highly doubt that.
Huh?
That's your reason because you got upset that they clowned you?
No. Like those people spent like all the Wii years, right? Like Maybe some of the GameCube years, like all the GameCube years, the Wii, definitely all the Wii years, definitely all the Wii U years, like insisting that like Nintendo was trash, that it was only for kids, that like nobody liked it, that like everybody who knew what they were talking about was going to PlayStation. And then when like I actually played PlayStation and realized just how, they weren't any good, like that just really bothered me.
The Wii U sucked.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No.
Okay, it did. The Wii U sucked. Plus, you have to get like fucking, like what BCL told me that Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the HD remastered one. It says you have to go to a certain dungeon. If you go to a certain dungeon, you can't get into it unless you have the Wolf Link. So why would I want to buy a bunch? So why would I want to? So why would I buy a game to go to a level in order to get a fucking Beanie Baby?
I cannot believe that you're bringing up shit posting from like 2015. Okay, that is not actually true.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
GGL, back me up here, man.
What happened? What he said?
When I mentioned about Zelda, where I mentioned about the comic section about the Zelda, Twilight Princess HD remaster, where you have to use the Wolf Link to get.
Yeah, that was anti-consumer. They force you. You have to use an amiibo to play it like an exclusive dungeon. Why couldn't they just add it freely?
It's not a dungeon.
So what is it?
It's like a gauntlet. Like you just fight through the cave ordeals as Wolf Link. Yeah.
Microtransactions is a problem for others. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like DMC5, it's a problem, except it's optional.
Let me get to my next point. Harmon, where did I say Breath of the Wild was a 7 out of 10?
Every video I've seen where you talk about it. Like I've seen you say that several times.
That I've said it's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I have said numerous times it's either an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10.
I have never seen you say that.
Yes,
that is not true.
I said it in a recent live stream. Literally like a week or 2 weeks ago, I said it. That Breath of the Wild was like a 9 out of 10. In my original review, before my account was terminated last year, I made a review back in May of 2017. And I gave Breath of the Wild a 9 out of 10.
And yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's not what I've seen several times. I've seen you describe it as a 7 out of 10 game so many times, saying it's not that good, that it's not worth owning a Switch over. Switch has no games. I don't play it that much, that sort of thing.
How bad do you have to lie?
You are a fucking liar. No one likes a liar, bro.
No.
No one likes a liar, bro. And already you lost.
Yeah, Wii U was awesome.
No, it was not. The Wii U fucking sucked.
No, it didn't.
I want to ask you something because JJ Wilson is a big Tekken fan. You say that you made a tweet saying that Tekken 7 is like a $20 game to get you want it on the Switch. What's that all about?
Wait, what? Were you asking me something?
Yeah. On Twitter, you were saying how Tekken 7 probably lost its value because it's now like you get for like $20 or $25.
Oh, yeah.
You want it to come on Switch.
Yeah, so I have the option to buy it if I wanted it.
Why don't you get the Xbox One then?
Because I don't want it on Xbox One.
Why is that?
Because I don't like so I would prefer to own it on Switch because that's the superior platform with like the portability and the.
This gives me to the next topic. How do you say that Doom on the Switch is better than Doom on the PS4?
Oh, portability.
That's the reason.
Yeah, that in and of itself makes it the superior version.
Let's ignore the fact that the PS4 version runs at 60 frames per second while the Switch version runs 30 frames.
I've said this in the past, but I feel the whole frame thing is so overstated by fanboys. It's kind of missing the entire point because, Doom is great to play on Switch. And in the end, that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter what the frame rate is.
So you were just going, despite the PS4 version is like 10 times better than the Switch version.
It's not better because it doesn't have portability.
That's okay. So by that logic, let me finish, Jacob. Let me finish.
All right.
By that logic, Mortal Kombat 2 on the Game Boy is better than the Super Nintendo version.
No, because like that is missing content and features. I'm not sure exactly what they did for that one, but back then it was difficult to port the entire console experience onto the Game Boy. Like the Switch is not like that. Like everything in Doom 2016 made its way onto the Switch.
Okay, but that's your logic. Because you say that Doom is better on Switch because of portability. So then I say, okay, then Mortal Kombat 2 on the Game Boy is better than the Super Nintendo version because of portability.
So
that's how you think. You don't realize that you're a contradicting idiot like 24/7?
Yes, I can agree with you there, PGL. So, yeah, let me get the floor here. So, if I would get like a game, let's see if I get a PS4 and I was gonna get a game, let's see, like Spider-Man PS4. Like I got an Xbox One and I got a Switch. So you need to tell me that if that game comes on the PS4, I would rather buy the PS. Let's see. If that game, if I have a PS4 right now, let me start because I keep on starting a lot. So like in Spider-Man PS4, like if it comes to the Switch, so I would rather buy a PS4 version because
it's a superior version.
Number one, it would it'd be better off to have it now than fucking later. So your whole thing is about portability. Hello?
I'm not sure. What was your point?
Well, the point is that so why should I bother buying the Switch version where I could buy the PS4 version of a certain game that's much cheaper and it's way better?
The Switch version is better.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Switch fucking.
Despite the fact that Digital Foundry already proved that the Switch version is.
Digital Foundry have to be some of the biggest shills I think I've seen on the play because they are so desperate to come up with some excuse to not praise the Switch. Right?
It's
like
just like Alex Jones thinking right here. Like you are literally the Alex Jones of Nintendo.
Nah.
No, you're the Dark Side Phil of fucking Nintendo.
Dark Side Phil. No. I'm not that fan. No.
Wait, hold on. Marvin, let me ask you this. Why do you have a problem? Why can't you play games on YouTube? Like, why don't you do Let's Plays?
I haven't bought a capture card yet. I've actually just started looking at it.
You say things I don't play games then, despite I do Let's Plays.
Huh? What?
Why? So why is it a problem when I do Let's Plays?
When did I say that? I don't remember.
Back in your first video you did on me, saying that I don't play video games?
I don't remember that. That was probably making fun of your not playing Nintendo.
Does that 5-tag give you a memory disorder or something?
Yeah, I want to ask you, do you have like short-term memory loss or something? That's not me being insulting. I'm just saying.
That was a while back, wasn't it?
That was just like 5 months ago or 6 months.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Shoot.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. So we talked about the whole Nintendo monopolizing. So why do you have a problem with me saying ARMS is a bad game?
Because it isn't. Really good fighting game. Love it. Really technical. Really original. Great online.
Soul Calibur's better than fucking ARMS.
What, 6? I have not played Soul Calibur 6. I don't know anything about it. I've never heard anybody talk about it. I'm waiting for that Switch version. I don't
call yourself a gamer.
Well, I mean, 5 was so bad that I'm kind of reluctant to even follow Soul Calibur right now. You know how it is, right? So I'm waiting for that glorious return to Nintendo consoles. Like, I would buy a port of 2 with online play.
Bro, why are you such a goddamn
Look, DGL, can I take the floor here?
Yeah, you can.
You mean to tell me you never fucking played Soul Calibur? Even though there's a GameCube version that has.
No, he has.
No. I played Soul Calibur 2. That's that was one of my all-time favorite fighting games for a long time on the GameCube. But yeah, the series has gone downhill. I think everybody would say that. Like 5 was terrible. I just I didn't really care when Soul Calibur 6 was announced.
Okay. Regrettably saying, he's right. 5 does suck.
I would say, okay, here's the thing. You said that Soul Calibur went downhill. That is true, but you say that it started with 3. 3 was great.
Yeah, 3 should have been a multi-plat.
Everything should be multiplied to your eyes. Okay.
Yeah, everything must be multi.
But you're saying that Soul Calibur 6, was looking iffy. And yet it ended up being the best entry in a long time.
I didn't say anything about Soul Calibur 6. I didn't have an opinion on it.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
You were saying like how ARMS is better than most modern fighting games.
Well, it is. Yeah, I guarantee you it's better than Soul Calibur 6.
Bitch, are you a troll? Let me ask you that. Are you a troll?
What are you going to say next? That Dead or Alive 6 is better than ARMS? Is that what you're going to say next? No. ARMS is original, so that in and of itself gives it a bit of an edge over Soul Calibur. Like, again, Soul Calibur is just a reboot. Really looking forward to ARMS 2. Like, once they really figure out how to really make this idea shine.
Now let's get to the one topic I kind of forgot. Your whole bullshit with emulators and ROMs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't like the fact that I call you out for being pirates, right?
Oh, pirates. Dude, to be honest, if people don't have enough money to buy a fucking Nintendo,
then make money. Don't be a poor fuck. Don't justify your behavior, your criminal behavior. Just how poor are you when you need to steal video games?
It's easier. It's easier to get a fucking emulator to play Nintendo games. I play emulators.
Wait for a proper re-release. Like Link's Awakening, you can get that on you can buy a used copy on Amazon pretty easily. You can get it on 3DS, and like the remake is coming out for Switch. Like there's no justification for like just stealing stuff.
This is Golden Sun Lost Agents. I own a copy of it. And yeah, you claim that all I do is just play emulator stuff. Dude, why should I? Let me ask you something. Why should I spend like $500 on Little Samson when I could just play on my emulator?
On what?
Why should I spend $500 on Little Samson for the original Nintendo where I could just play it on my emulator? He's not answering.
Oh my god. Hello?
He makes a video about the emulators and he can't make up a rebuttal.
Yeah, you can. Hello? You there?
Yeah, I'm fine. You're just that's all I can say is that you're trying to justify your bullshit. Like, ooh, what if I do this? What if this is unavailable? What if this is hard to get? Like, who cares? You're still doing something that's not okay.
Should I just go to jail then?
Yeah. Should I go to jail too?
I think you should be fined, going by what I understand, but that's on Nintendo. That depends on what Nintendo does.
Oh my god. Then why are you calling us fucking pirates?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
No, we're pirates because we play some Nintendo. Dude, I use emulators to record my Let's Plays. Why is that a problem?
The primary appeal for emulation is to play pirated games. Like, you can say all you want about how it's to like preserve games or whatever, but that's just not the case. It's just an attempt to justify piracy.
Oh my god! So even if I own the actual card, it's a problem.
Nintendo says that's not the case, so whatever. But that's not why people do. Like nobody actually does that.
God, does Nintendo pay you, man? Does Nintendo pay you, man?
Well, I'm thinking about what Nintendo wants as a business because they own the property. They decide what can and can't be done with it. And they say that if you own a physical copy, that's fine. But most people who use emulators don't own physical copies. They just download it off the internet and play it that way.
And is that a problem? Dude, you do realize a lot of these games came out like 20 or 30 years ago. A lot of these companies are out of business.
Yeah, so? I think how that works is that those games would slip into the public domain and that would be fine. Like, again, you would have to look on like copyright law for that. And then maybe somebody would like purchase it, like sort of like how THQ Nordic recently bought like all those old THQ IPs, like, and re-released like Darksiders, all those. Like again, this stuff happens, right?
Just play on my end. But where did Jacob just went? Okay, because Jacob, something happened. But all right, whatever. All right. So the next thing. Why do you hate the PS4 so much?
It's not a very good console.
Why is that?
There are no games.
There are no games for it.
Yeah.
What about God of War and Spider-Man?
Not good enough. Like typical AAA schlock. The same shit we were getting back in, 10 years ago, basically. Like Infamous came out 10 years ago, right? Like that's around the same amount of quality we're talking about here, I imagine.
Harmon, okay. Well, okay, I want to ask you something. Why did you make that one video that it took me a long time to beat Persona 5?
Why was that? There was some reason for it.
You were saying
I can't remember.
Play 2 or more games at once.
Yeah.
It took me forever to play Persona 5. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think you were saying I wasn't playing a whole lot of games. And then, like, I called you out on it. Yeah.
I was able to finish Persona 5 in just 2 months after you made that video.
It took you 2 months to beat a game, huh? One that you've owned for like a year. Okay.
I actually got it back on my birthday of 2018. It only took me just 7 months to beat.
Okay.
And that was with playing a lot of my games.
I can't keep track of all of this. I'm sorry. I don't really care about you people.
You don't care.
Well, I can't remember why I make certain statements all the time or why I make certain videos or whatever.
Okay, then why are you here on YouTube then?
Well, to talk about what video games, to talk about what I like and what I'm playing and stuff like that.
So you make videos, but you don't remember the points you made. You don't remember the topics you made. It's like, then why are you here? Then why do you attack fan bases? Why do you do all these things? If you don't
I remember. I've been able to talk about why I don't like Devil May Cry and why I'm not like stoked for God of War. It's just, again, it's not something that I revolve my life around.
Let me hold on, buddy. I'm just giving the link to Jacob on my Discord. Yeah, I already did, Caro. Oh yeah. Okay, so what questions do you have for me?
Not really. Not really anything.
Outside the fact that you think that I'm a Sony fanboy.
I mean, there's really nothing else to say. Like, you just attack me for no reason and keep insisting that, like, ARMS is dead and that Labo is a failure and that Switch isn't good and then Nintendo has alienated its audience. Clearly not, considering how well the Switch is doing. Like, how popular, even in the Wii U days, how popular the first-party stuff was. What?
Let me ask you a question.
But who are you? Oh, this guy.
It's me, Team Shallenstar. I'm here to ask you a question. Have you ever played any Nintendo system besides the Switch, do you think the Nintendo 3DS is good?
Yes, I love the 3DS. I was playing it today actually. Fire Emblem Fates is.
Listen to me. Like, you're in your stream, right? You called everybody Pretendos, but yet you sit back and play Nintendo yourself. Now, tell me if that doesn't make sense to you or not. I made a stream about you saying that you have to stop this, man.
What?
This gotta stop.
What? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, back up here. Like, what? Like, what do you, what? Okay, I don't watch streams, okay? I don't know what people are saying about me. I don't care, right? And of course I play Nintendo consoles. Like, what? Yeah, I love the 3DS, to answer your question.
That you call people Pretendos, and yet you criticize Nintendo games.
Oh, yeah. I talked about this in this stream, actually, where I was first getting started, in that, like, I am reasonable in my complaints. I talk about what a game does and does not do. And, like, sometimes I like a game and sometimes I don't. Like, again, I'm playing Fire Emblem Fates right now, and I'm reasonably enjoying the gameplay. But, yeah, as we all know, the story in that game is atrocious, and I talk about that. That's a reasonable opinion to have. Like, compared to the way people treat, like, a Pokemon and how they get angry at every single release over like the most arbitrary thing, like the starter designs, the Pokemon designs, like being a rehash of old Pokemon games, like that sort of thing gets on my nerves. I just do not like that.
Okay, so you think I'm a silly family? Let's go back to sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, no, you were saying that I attacked you, and yeah, you attacked families. So what's the problem? Well, what's the difference?
The difference? What?
You just pulled the victim card. You said I attacked you for no reason, but yet you attacked many fan bases who don't have the same opinion as you. So what is the problem? Why am I the special one?
Well, that's mostly because you're the one who comes after me personally and tries to, again, if you'll remember, you were the one who first started making videos about me, and then I like started responding to that. And that's why we've been going back and forth ever since.
That's the reason. So that's your reason?
Yeah, sure.
Wow. I'll give you this. You actually showed up. You know what? I'll give you this. You actually showed up for one time. Was that hard, Armin? Was that hard? That was all I wanted. That was all I wanted. Was just one debate.
Yeah, I know you and your fanboys tried so hard to make it out like I was a coward and that like I didn't want to confront you or anything like that. But in reality, I just didn't really want to waste my time. So I just wanted to get this over with. And
dude, then why? Then let me tell you this. Then why did you ran away in all the instances that I wanted to debate you? You showed up on my chat. And I tell you, let's have a debate. We can end it. But no, you run away.
I did not run away. I've said this.
You did. You did.
No. I left a comment making fun of you for your bullshit, and then I went and did my own thing. Like I think that first day, I went inside and played video games. That's all I did.
Guess who's back? Back again. Sorry, my iPod died.
It's all right, man. I'm about to end this off in like a few minutes. I was making sure I covered everything. I just need to ask you this. Like, again, like, why are you just so biased with Nintendo? Like,
because they're better. They have withstood the test of time. They've stayed relevant. Like, where Sony reached their height with the PS1, and constantly gone downhill. Nintendo has stayed on the top. They've stayed on top of their game. They constantly put out new interesting IP, new games. Like, I love everything they do. It's great.
Harmon, let me finish. Harmon, is it true that Devil's Third is better than Devil May Cry?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Holy shit. Devil's Third is so good.
Why did you make a video bitching about people liking No Man's Sky then?
Yeah, why did you bitch about that?
Because No Man's Sky sucks. Like,
Okay,
what's difficult to understand about that?
Fuck them.
Makes no sense.
Bro,
It doesn't matter.
So
No Man's Sky is bad,
so
and Devil's Third isn't. I don't understand what is so hard to understand about this. Like, are you that?
People have different types of opinion, dude.
Okay, so
Every
wait,
don't
so
understand.
you like Devil's Third, but it's not fun for people that
I like No Man's Sky.
Whoa. Really? Come on, get out of here. I'm not talking to you anymore. Come on.
Oh, you're gonna pussy out now?
What? I don't want to deal with someone who likes No Man's Sky. Like, I am better than that. Like, I don't want to talk to you people. Just
I didn't even say that, Harmon. I didn't say that, Harmon.
No, I did. I said I like No Man's Sky.
When did Harmon? I never played No Man's Sky. What I'm saying is that you have a problem with some people liking No Man's Sky, but yet you like Devil's Third.
No Man's Sky had this really bizarre development cycle, right? Where it was hyped up as this big new thing, failed. People tried to damage control it, like it didn't work, and then it got a patch, and then people tried to pretend it was like fixed now. Like, that is why I hate No Man's Sky so much. It is like the definitive example of everything that's wrong with major PlayStation exclusives. It's just, I hate it. I hated that so much. And I called it right when it got announced, too. It took attention away from my beloved Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is a far superior game, required no patches to be good, and was all around like, a stellar release on Nintendo Wii U.
So you need to tell me the Switch doesn't do patches. You need to tell me that?
It does not try to pretend that like patches will salvage a terrible broken game the way that like No Man's Sky tried to do. It was just no, that doesn't happen on Nintendo consoles.
Nintendo,
Yes.
Can I get the point?
Yes.
Nintendo is no better than any other fucking company, dude. Nintendo fucking flaw or Microsoft. But you act like Nintendo is some gaming guy, which it's not.
Yes, it is. If you made a top 100 list of every single game ever made, like the top 100 best games ever made, like most of the games on that list would be developed in-house by Nintendo. They're just that much better than the competition.
No, okay, well, The Last of Us then.
The Last of Us wouldn't even get in like a top 1,000 list, okay? The Last of Us is not shit. Okay?
What about Jack and Dexter or Ratchet and Clank? What do you think of those games?
They suck. Oh, no, I actually like the first Jack and Daxter. Jack 2 is shit.
I agree with you. But
really?
What about like other games like Crash or Spyro? What do you think of those games?
Like, I hate Crash. I like Spyro.
Hold on. Jordan.
What?
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh, I just want to say that Drake Ford is trying to take credit for exposing Harmon Smith. Like, I said that, you deserve.
How the hell did
like,
you get in here?
Oh, there was a link at the bottom.
Link in where?
In the chat,
Which chat?
the live chat.
Oh,
Jordan, I don't know how many times I've told you this. You're banned for life on my channel.
wait, who is this kid?
Jordan, he was the one that said racial slurs to the Drake Lord.
Okay. All right.
What? Banned for life. Yeah, goodbye. Gone.
Ain't that kid
Harmon,
supposed to
get off my stage, and here's a chair.
Yeah,
Okay, Armin Smith. I want a question to ask you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Do you think Crash Bandicoot is which do you think is better in your opinion? Crash Bandicoot or ARMS?
Oh, ARMS, definitely. Crash is trash.
Well, that's
So
obvious.
why? Now let me ask you a question. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy has sold a lot of copies.
Yeah. Sales does not indicate quality. Sales has nothing to do with quality. Like I own Crash on Switch. I've played through them. I don't like any of them. I think they're all garbage.
Then why do you say shit, man? You're mixing up your opinions, man. You gotta, dude.
What? No, I've always been consistent on that. I don't like Crash.
Then why do you have the games?
Because I never played the sequels. I played the first one, didn't like it, and then I was told that Crash 2 is better.
Answer that.
Joe, he's just playing. Armin's just playing.
I know BGO, but he's just I don't know what to say, man. I know, man. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I'm just gonna mute you for a bit, okay, man?
All right.
Okay, so, all right, what's the other? Okay, so you think that what? Okay, you think Nintendo is the only one that makes good games?
Not the only one, but they're the most consistent and they're most prolific. They make the most great games out of any publisher.
All right. What about Sega? They made nice.
Sega has gone bankrupt, so they haven't been relevant. Like they've gone down way down. I think everybody would agree this. They haven't really made a whole lot since the Dreamcast died. Like they made Yakuza, which is great. They bought Atlas, which I guess is fine.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Dreamcast?
I don't own one. Like I played Sonic Adventure. I don't really care for it. Sonic Adventure 2 I really didn't like. I have not played a ton of the great Dreamcast classics.
Have you ever played a video game called Shenmue?
I'm waiting for the Switch version. It should have been out by now. I don't know what they're waiting on.
It's coming out in August.
For the Switch? Yeah, it's been out for other consoles, but
no, for the PS4.
Yeah, it came out on Xbox One as well, but I'm waiting for the Switch version.
Okay, waiting for it. Okay.
Hang on. Okay, I have a question for fucking Travis here.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you want DMC4 to come to the Switch?
Just so it's there. There's no reason for it not to be. Like Capcom is so willing to port like all their other HD collections to every other platform. Like just port everything on Switch as well. Like how hard is that? Just come on.
How would you feel if Dante's going to end up in Smash Ultimate? How would you feel about
It's not going to happen. Hopefully.
It does happen.
Like Bayonetta's better anyway. Like Bayonetta has taken that spot from him, so Bayonetta proving herself to be the better character.
2B from here on about it too.
Dante is relegated to PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale while Bayonetta's in the actual good.
Reboot Dante, dumbass. We're talking about the original Dante.
Well, that was Dante at the time. So.
No, that wasn't Dante.
Okay.
All right, Martin Smith, I got another question for you. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
How do you feel about Beautiful Joe being in Smash Ultimate?
I would like the idea. I'm not sure how likely that is, though. I would prefer Wonder Red.
Have you ever played Beautiful Joe? Ever played Beautiful Joe 2? Have you ever
I played both.
Have you ever played any of the games?
Yeah, I played the first two. I don't care for 2 as much as the original, and I didn't care for Double Trouble. So I've never played Red Hot Rumble though.
So
I got real Red Hot.
So you want Beautiful Joe to be in Smash?
Well, I'm not requesting it, but I wouldn't say no.
Okay, next question. You ready? What character do you desire the most to be in Smash?
I've got everyone I want. Like I got Bayonetta. I can't really think of anyone. I would want like when the ballot came out, I voted for Alexandra Roivas from Eternal Darkness. I went for like a really fringe choice. Like I would be pretty happy with all sorts of characters. Like I would. What?
Oh God. Oh no.
What?
So Harmon Smith, I got another question for you. How do you feel about Pokemon Sun and Moon?
I like them.
You love Sun and Moon.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yo, Harmon. Yo.
Hello?
Yeah, why do you argue with these fucking retards, dude?
I don't know.
Yo, they're just haters, dog. All they do is make videos on you. I'll be dying, dog. I'll be dying. Yo.
I don't know. Like I've never talked with them before, so it's kind of a new thing. I don't think I'm going to be doing it again.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I don't think they literally every time you stream, they stream, you stream. It's the craziest thing. These guys are obsessed, dog.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, shout out to you, dog. Your channel's great. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Oh, thank you.
I don't agree with what you say all the time, but man, your confidence and your whatever, make for entertaining videos.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. Shout out you, man. I'm out.
Okay. What just happened? Yeah, it just changed on me. So yeah, I'm not sure if you heard that conversation. I guess you did, but I kind of agree. Like, why am I wasting my time? Yeah, I think it's about time for me to go. I've gone a little bit longer than I was going to anyway. Yeah. These guys cannot debate at all. Like, man, devolving into like what games I like and don't like, it's just, you know, complete bullshit. Like, you're a hypocrite, Harmon. Just whatever. So yeah, I think been going on too long. I think people are bored now. Um, wasn't that your call? How did you get blocked from your own call? Like really, everybody went off at once. I don't understand what happened there. Um, another epic fail from BGL and his failure to expose me. I don't know. Like, do they really make live streams on me every time I stream? I've only streamed like 3 times now, like every single time. Like, I wasn't aware of that. I know they make videos and podcasts, but like actual live streaming while I'm live streaming, that's kind of weird. Yeah, yeah, I have places to be. I do think I'll be seeing you later. If anybody wants any last minute questions for me from the chat, anything else?
Harvard, one more thing, but
Yeah.
People posting you on Twitter. Go check your notifications, man. You're in the Dracor news, man. Your Twitter's popping up, man. See you later.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I guess I'll be looking at my Twitter. Yeah. I'll do a podcast. When do you normally do them? Yeah, don't you dare call anyone a cuck. You overweight, twitching retard. Just I am trolling them. Really? They really think that? Uh, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Yeah, what time? I could probably do it best both days. I don't work on Saturdays. Um, yeah, I could probably do Wednesdays as well. Yeah, yeah, I probably could. All right, send me an invite and I'll do that. And we'll talk about talk about my little hate following here and what they're talking about. Okay, so what did we learn from this live stream? My critics are insane. They're a bunch of stuttering autists who can't seem to like get a point across. They like make all these weird judgments about me and like insist that like I'm more biased than I actually am, and keep asking me all these like questions that aren't all that poignant. I just okay. Yeah. Whew. I don't know what this Regina meme is about. I keep saying it in my chat. Like, what's the joke? All right. I think that's it. I gotta get going. Last call, guys. Okay, Nintendo's the best. I'll see you all later. Yeah, super, super cringe. Man, interacting with these people, man. I'll do it again, but like, I don't know. Next time, I want like some people with me. Okay, I don't want VGL to do this thing where like he specifically tells me that he wants me to come alone, and then he invites all of his stupid ass friends on. That's just like that's just so stupid. I just ridiculous. Okay, so see you later. I'll talk to you. Next time I make a video, probably Wednesday, maybe if I do go on the BS Busters podcast and talk about things whatever we talk about on there, we're going to talk about on there. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Talking with other people might make this a bit more interesting, expand my audience, so to speak. All right. I think that's it. I'll see you later.